Yo, what's up, guys? Today we are watching Minnal Murali. If you haven't seen the playlist, go check it out. Man, that last climax scene was amazing. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I posted it before this one. Oh, this is the last part and my movie review. Guys, what is this? No, this is not what I want to show you. There we go. This is what I want to show you. 32% of you are subscribed, 67% of you are not subscribed yet, so click that red button, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let's go. This is the last part. It's gonna be awesome.
എന്ത് തീരുമാനിച്ചു?
പോകുന്നില്ല. എനിക്കിവിടെ കുറച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ചെയ്യാൻ.
People need you here.
ഓക്കേ.
Oh, he changed the character arc.
അന്ന് അപ്പൻ എൻ്റെ കണ്ണുകളിൽ കണ്ട ആ നിയോഗം എന്താണെന്ന് എനിക്കിപ്പോൾ മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ട്. ഈ നാടിന് വേണ്ടി തിരഞ്ഞെടുക്കപ്പെട്ടവനാണ് ഞാൻ. ഇവിടെ കാവലായി നിൽക്കേണ്ടവൻ. ഞാൻ കൂടെയുള്ളപ്പോൾ അവരുടെ മുഖത്തെ പ്രതീക്ഷ എനിക്ക് കാണാം. എല്ലാം ഇവിടെ അവസാനിച്ചു എന്ന് ഞാൻ കരുതുന്നില്ല. ചിലപ്പോൾ ഇതൊരു തുടക്കം മാത്രമാവാം. നശിപ്പിക്കാനും കൊന്നു തിന്നാനും ഇനിയും പല ശക്തികൾ വന്നേക്കാം. ആരൊക്കെ വന്നാലും നേരിടാൻ തയ്യാറായി ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ തന്നെ ഉണ്ടാവും.
Epic dialogue.
നാടിന്റെ രക്ഷകനായി, അവരുടെ സ്വന്തം മിന്നൽ മുരളിയായി.
Minnal Murali. Wow, man. Guys, honestly, let me see if there's any. I don't think there are any post-credit scenes or anything like that. Wow. Guys, let's talk about the movie. So, what can I say? It's a classic superhero ending. Okay, so if you guys are here just for the review, I'm gonna start with the review, and yeah, well, okay, so I watched Minnal Murali, and it was awesome. You can watch my full movie reaction here on YouTube. The playlist is on my channel, and what you saw was the last scene. I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the title, spoiler alert or something like that. Okay. In any case, guys, let's talk about the beginning of the movie. So the movie starts with the whole idea of the character building. So we see a parallel character building between two people, and then immediately I associated it with the hero and the anti-hero, right? Or the villain, if you may. And it was a slow burn. It was a movie that not many people might have expected it. I expected it because when I watched the trailer, I thought, okay, so it's not going to be a full action-packed movie. It's going to be a storytelling, a backstory kind of movie. And it's exactly that. It's a backstory of the hero. It's the origins of the hero. Some say it's the first hero in Bollywood, in Malayalam cinema. And I think the whole idea of telling the story, how he became the hero, his backstory, talked about his family, talked about everything. I think that builds up into the character arc of the hero and of the villain. So in this movie, we saw the backstory of the character, the main character, and at the same time, we saw the backstory of the villain. Now, in the second movie, I think we're just gonna see, we're gonna see more action. Because here's the thing: in the second movie, there is no parallel storyline, right? I'm sure they're gonna have a second movie, but in a second movie, you're not going to tell the backstory of the villain and, you know, not tap into the story of the hero. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to have less story in the second movie, so they can focus more on action. This is normally how superhero movie goes. You know, the superhero movies, they normally do this. They kind of like tell the backstory in the first part of the trilogy, let's say, and then in the second part they have more action, because it gets a little bit uneven or unbalanced when you're telling a backstory of a villain while you're not telling a story of the hero. So this first movie, because we were watching the backstory of the hero, it was allowed to see the backstory of the villain. But in the second movie, I think if you go into too much detail of the backstory of the villain, the story is going to be unbalanced. And you see that in many Hollywood movies. Like, for example, when you see a new villain come into a movie, you just see how he became the villain, but you don't see anything about his family or anything like that. There isn't a lot of story. It's just like maybe 10 minutes of exposition. Yeah, I think that's the word. In any case, in this movie, we saw every step of the way, and it was fun, full of comedy, full of comic relief, and I think it was a very nice slow burn. There were emotional parts, but for the most part, it was funny and it was exciting, and I was full of hope throughout the whole movie for the villain. He is just a person who, you know, he didn't get a chance to, you know, to be the person that he could have been, the good guy. In any case, I like what they did with the editing. Even though this movie didn't have a lot of CGI, it did have a handful, but not a lot. It wasn't a visual extravaganza. What they did was very clever. They used the audio, they used the editing, and they used the off-screen, you know, methods to show you that he had a power. And there were very subtle details at times in different moments of the movie. Like, for example, when he held something and his handprint was on that, it showed that he was powerful. And the way he discovered his power slowly, it was a build-up to the final climax scene that we saw on the previous video, you know, that he discovered, or he unlocks a new power. That was amazing. Now, the ending was a little bit rushed, but that's normal in Indian movies. After you see the climax, normally there are just like 2 or 3 minutes left, just to wrap up the movie. And I think the director didn't want any boring parts, so he just wrapped up the movie at the end with an emotional speech that we saw in this video. But I thought it was a spectacular movie. I think the acting was awesome. I think everything happened the way it should have happened. I wouldn't change anything in this movie. I think it was a very nicely told story, and I really liked it. I can understand why some people might not have liked this movie, because it's a lot of storytelling. But if you guys are a real fan of cinema, you're going to enjoy it, because cinema is storytelling. And I think they did it beautifully. If you wanted a lot more action, then you're looking for a commercial film. You're not looking for a cinematic, you know, film. You're not looking for something like this. And I think Mollywood, you know, Malayalam movies have the tendency of having more story, having a more realistic take, you know, and I like that. I like that. The whole idea of having, although it's not realistic that you can get superpowers, the fact that the story was realistic is what matters. The acting was realistic. There was no beating around the bush, you know, it was just straight to the point. So I think they had a very good balance of, if this actually happened in real life, this is how it would play out. So I think they had a very interesting take on that. So it was kind of like a realistic story about a fiction situation. Does that make sense? A realistic portrayal of a fictional situation that will never happen, but if it did, it was hypothetical. I think this is how people would react. You know, I think the only downside of the realistic part is that when people finally saw him using his powers, there wasn't a lot of surprise. Some people were surprised. Some people were like, you know, I don't know. It was. Some people were like, for example, the person who lived with Shibu, when he saw him break the wall, he just did, you know, something like that. And I was like, dude, he just broke your wall. Aren't you a little bit concerned? You know, but I don't want to criticize the movie because there is nothing to criticize. I just think the movie was awesome and the acting was great. The chemistry was awesome. The story was very well justified. And hey, if this is the first Malayalam superhero movie, then I can't wait for more. And I think Minnal Murali has the potential of joining Hollywood, you know, one of the universes. They should do something with India. India is like a very powerful and populous country, so Marvel should reach out to the creators of Minnal Murali and do something, you know, at least a cameo, something. But they need Minnal Murali in the Avengers or something. I don't know. I believe that's possible. But I really liked it, especially if Tovino Thomas. I don't know if he speaks English, but if he does, then it's gonna be nice. Then he can join the Marvel universe, you know, as the protector of India. And that's another thing. Right now he's in Kerala, right? I would like him to take a more nationwide approach, because he said, I am the savior of my land, but I would like him to go a little bit more nationwide, because he saved his village. But how many people, you know, will need a vigilante or a superhero in their village? Do you know what I mean? So if he takes a more India, the whole country, that would be interesting. But we saw many hints in the beginning of the movie that showed that there are other people that have been hit by lightning. So we are gonna see more heroes and villains, and I think this is the beginning of a new superhero Mollywood universe, Minnal Murali universe, and I'm so excited for this. This will open doors. So guys, this has to be a great success, and being a great success, there will be more and more and more. So if you like the genre, go support Minnal Murali, and I think it's gonna blow up. Anyways, if you enjoyed this movie, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you guys want to help out the channel, you can donate if you want to. Anyways, I'll see you tomorrow with Drishyam. We're gonna have another movie, full movie reaction. So Drishyam number 2 is coming. If you haven't seen the reaction of Drishyam number 1, then you can go binge watch it. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys, and don't forget, subscribe for the effort. This week we have had 3 movies, so subscribe for the effort. Take care, guys. Bye bye.